Okay, so I want to attempt to show you a bypass for the AC clutch fuse. The Dodge Charger and the Chrysler 300 is a very common problem. For some reason, the fuse cavity starts to melt and deform. If we go here to the top panel, we can see that cavity number 12 corresponds to the AC clutch. Its corresponding relay is up here, relay AC clutch. That's the fourth fuse. We have a blank, second, third, fourth. Now, I disassembled the fuse panel. There's a bunch of clips that hold it in. You have to undo all of the clips that hold it, and then this whole thing will come off and expose the wiring beneath. Now, upon checking with my multimeter, the lower cavity corresponds to a bus bar feeding 12 volts hot. So it's effectively connected to the 12 volt terminal of the battery. The second cavity on the top end is what I've yet to determine, which I believe is going to the relay. So what we need to do is snip off that wire, and we're going to install a fuse bypass to the 12 volts hot. So upon gently lifting the fuse box, we can see that this wire here, which is a red wire with a very sky blue trace, corresponds to the cavity over here for the air conditioning clutch. So that's the wire that we're going to have to cut out and splice to our new fuse harness. So effectively what we're doing is connecting that wire, the red wire with the sky blue trace, right to the 12 volt feed, and we're going to inline splice a 12 volt fuse. I'll show you that in a moment. What I'm going to use is something along the lines of this. You can pick packs of 10 up of these for fairly cheap, and since it called for a 10 amp fuse, we're going to replace it with a 10 amp fuse. However, this is a much larger gauge of wiring as well as a thicker fuse, so we'll go ahead and we'll put that in. As I say, one end is going to go from that red wire with sky blue trace to the hot terminal of the battery. So I have fed my new wiring harness slash wire with a fuse through where the main harness comes in for the rest of the vehicle, under here into the bottom portion of the fuse panel, because it has to be tucked away so that we can reclose this fuse panel. And then all we're going to do is connect it right up here to this main post where the 12 volt feed comes in from the battery. And we'll put it all together and see if it works, or we get a fizzle fart and a puff of smoke. And there we have it. The AC clutch is running beautifully. The fuse bypass is installed, and I will continue to monitor this over the next few weeks to ensure that it is functioning properly and not overheating or blowing, but I suspect this should solve the problem. So there you go. That's how you bypass a fuse directly from the fuse panel.